Jim, my friend Trixie, her brother-in-law, he is 45 years old and was just diagnosed with colon cancer.
Yeah, you know, Caryn, unfortunately, we're seeing colon cancer at a much younger age these days. And in fact, in the fairly recent past, used to, we would recommend routine screening for colon cancer with a colonoscopy, for example, starting at age 50, but they've recently lowered that to age 45. And it's predicted by 2030, which is not that far from now, that colon cancer is going to be the leading cause of death in adults under the age of 50.
Oh, yikes. So what causes it?
Well, about 90% of colon cancer is felt to be preventable. Now, there are a few, you know, fairly rare genetic disorders like Lynch syndrome, which can increase your risk, but most of it is lifestyle related. So we know, for example, that smoking increases your risk, physical inactivity. One of the big ones is too much red and especially processed meat. We know that not eating enough fruits and vegetables. And most important, it's not getting enough fiber.
Oh, my second favorite F word.
Flavor being the first, I presume, right?
Of course. So why is it so important?
Well, fiber plays a number of roles in our health. First of all, what fiber is the undigestible part of a plant, right? It's a part our bodies can't use. And it can feed healthy gut microbiome, the healthy gut bacteria downstream, which has a lot of health benefits. It's been shown to help lower sugar spikes. It helps absorb some of the sugar so it's not absorbed quickly. It helps lower our cholesterol, markedly reduces our risk for colon cancer, and also helps keep bowel movements regular and prevent constipation.
So I've heard that just in like advertising and stuff like that there are a couple of different types of fiber. What's that all about?
So there's actually two broad types of fiber. So we have what's called soluble fiber, and soluble fiber dissolves in water. And when that happens, it forms kind of a gloopy mass. It's like think of oatmeal that's cooked in the morning. You know how it gets kind of gelatinous.
Gooey.
Yeah, gelatinous. And that type of fiber is very important because it actually can be metabolized or fermented by these healthy gut bacteria, forming a lot of things like fatty acids and things that are important for our health. The other kind of fiber is called insoluble fiber, and that fiber does not dissolve in water. And that's the fiber that really helps keep bowel movements regular, push things through, but also reducing the risk for colon cancer. Because what happens is that type of fiber absorbs water, it adds bulk to the stool, so the transit time is much quicker. So we have bowel movements much more frequently and much more regularly. Because it's, you know, you would imagine that if whatever kind of toxins are in our stool, the longer it sits touching the colon wall, the more inflammation it can occur that it causes.
Yes.
So the faster we can move things through, the less time there is to create the inflammation and damage the DNA, which is the root cause of the colon cancer.
Okay, so you're really connecting the dots for me. So clearly, fibers, good for us.
Yes.
How good? Like, how much do we need?
Well, it's generally recommended we get about 25, 30 grams of fiber a day. I think ideally it should be closer to 40 to 50 grams. Average American gets 15 grams of fiber, not near enough fiber. And that's one reason that's felt that we're seeing with all these ultra-processed foods, which don't have fiber, one of the reasons we're starting to see colon cancer at such a young age.
Gosh, that's so scary. Okay, so how about I make us a fiber-filled recipe, and there's no cooking involved.
Oh, that's great. And it's going to have at least 2 of your 3 favorite F words in it, right?
Yes, it is flavorful.
and it's
going to have a lot of fiber in it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
let's get cooking. We're not going to be, let's get mixing.
Yeah.
Then. How about that?
Yeah, let's get preparing.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so I am going to glove up because I don't even use any equipment, any like blenders
For your
or
hands, there's
any of that.
equipment.
Well, right. But so I don't, there's nothing to plug in, there's nothing to take out of your cabinets, nothing like that. And it's a no cook, so check. This is my chickpea chicken salad.
Oh, right.
Oh my gosh, I have another girlfriend, who every time I see her, she just, because I've given it to her so many times, she just expects it.
Yeah,
like
like a housewarming gift,
yes,
right.
yes. Okay, so we're gonna add in, this is 2 cans of chickpeas. I've just drained and rinsed them.
Right. So chickpeas, by the way, legumes in general, beans, lentils, that's really your fiber powerhouse foods, right? That's by far the best source of fiber. And guess what they have? They have protein, they have cancer-fighting phytonutrients, on and on. So beans and lentils really are the mainstay of maintaining a high fiber diet.
That's and if you're starting to use beans, if you're starting to add more into your
Right.
diet, you want to start with like a lentil probably,
Right.
or a black bean, because
Right.
those have the very thin skins.
Right, right. Because some people will, when they start to introduce more fiber into the diet, they oftentimes will get some bloating and such, and they blame it on the beans, and it is the beans indirectly. But actually, what's happening is it's back to this gut microbiome problem, right? When we don't have the right gut microbiome to digest the what are called oligosaccharides, the sugars that are present in the beans, they get passed down to the colon, where they actually get fermented. And imagine, if you've ever seen beer, whatever, it all bubbles up.
Sure,
Right? So
yeah.
that's what's happening in your gut. So that's where the gas and the bloating comes from. So, rinsing your beans, using thinner skin beans, because it's the skin where some of these oligosaccharides, these sugars are. There are some commercial products like Beano that you can use. And then you have a great fiber formula on your website.
Yeah.
That helps people kind of slowly introduce fiber into their diet. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so first, one thing I do want to just mention is that so many people, as do you, love chickpeas.
Right.
So it's not something, they are pretty dense, but this is one way, this is a really good way to introduce chickpeas, which is a denser bean, right? And you can do what I'm doing. You can make a hummus, right? Which is
So you're pre-digesting.
I'm pre-digesting these with my hands, so my gut's not doing so much work.
Right, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so first we will get to the fiber formula in just 2 seconds, but I want to get back to our recipe. I have added, just to pull everything together, some tahini, and that is ground sesame seeds.
Right, exactly.
So I'm going to have you help me. If you will please add in all of our celery.
All right.
So there's going to be a lot of texture here.
Yeah.
And then some red onion.
Yeah.
And then also all of the walnuts.
Yeah. Another great source of fiber, by the way.
Yes. And then if you want to add in, I'm going to have you, actually I'm just going to take off one glove, because now I can actually help you out here. If you will unscrew that. Now this is dill relish. You can use dill relish, or if you don't have that at home, you can just chop up some pickles.
Yeah, just one?
Oh no. Come on, brother. Let's go.
All right, there we go. How about that?
Yeah. So we're just going to mix all of this up.
Ooh, there we go.
Oh, nice catch.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add a heavy, I guess it's just a healthy bit of salt.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we need
Little ground red black pepper
black
here.
pepper. Yeah, lots of that. I think that,
Kale, yeah, baby.
Kale, yeah.
It says it right here on the pepper grinder.
So the fiber formula is just real easy, and we have a link to it below in the show notes. And it's just a really great way to help somebody add more fiber into their diet very gently, week by week.
Right. Well, it's kind of like, if you decided you wanted to run a marathon, you wouldn't go out and run 20 miles the first day, right?
That's right.
So you have to train your body to get used to that, right? So it's kind of the same thing with fiber, right? You don't, if you're trying to get your fiber intake to 50 grams or 40 grams and you're only taking in 15, adding 30 extra grams of fiber the first day is kind of like we're going and running that 20 miles,
much.
right? Yeah.
It's
so
too
you want
much.
to train your gut just
That's
like we
right.
train our muscles when we exercise. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because you want to do it. Your brain's there,
right.
but your gut has not
Hadn't
received the
caught
memo
up
yet.
with it. Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one,
Yeah.
and you're going to take that one.
All right.
Now, as with most things, this is going to be a little bit better the next day,
Right.
or after it chills down and all the flavors have a chance to marry and then
Right.
come
But
together.
You could like get a high fiber sprouted grain bread and bake a
Oh, gosh.
sandwich.
Yes.
Or you can just
Yes.
have it like this as a snack.
So this is one thing that I like to have in the refrigerator if
Yeah.
I come home from work, or you're hangry.
Right, sure.
So this really, really fits the bill. Okay.
All right.
So cheers.
So good.
You're great.
It's amazing.